Hello everyone, my name is Cyril Belize, and here with me today is Tokshen, and we're doing another online multiplayer match. Hey Tokshen.
Hello everybody, how's it going?
Right now we're playing as Chaos and the Greenskins. We're currently fighting two opponents over here. We've got, for me, the Vampire Counts, and over for Tokshen, we've got the Greenskins, and I don't know if you want to talk about your build real quick.
Honestly, I didn't really know much about how to play the Greenskins at this point. It's one of our first multiplayer battles, so I took a core of Orc Biggins against a core of Forsaken for the Chaos, so it's not going to go super well for me. Also got a couple Black Orcs, some Savage Orc Biggins, trying out a Chariot for the first time, and a couple Doom Divers with a Shaman leader for the spellcasting. What about you?
Okay, well, my guys are over here, and if I look at it, I've got Forsaken, which are very good at dealing damage. In the very middle, I have Marauders, and they're garbage, but I kind of wanted to use them as fodder, which they are. Now, back here, I brought in my Chaos Warriors, and they have Halberds, because they have anti-large and armor piercing, so they're pretty great. And then in the middle, I've got my Chaos Giant, which I love. Now, I'd like to bring a Giant to instill terror, and also because it's anti-infantry and armor piercing, but unfortunately, I was the one who ended up fighting the Vampire Counts. On my left flank, I did bring up my Chaos Knights, who were a pretty big part of my battle, and I probably would not have won without them. And it was kind of a different map for us to play on, because usually when we're playing, we end up having to take a long time trying to get from point A to point B, but here, we were face to face.
Yeah, it was a pretty quick battle. There's no real, artillery exchanges. We just jump right into it. At least your side does. My side's a little slower getting there, but that's a lot of zombies. I never really saw how many zombies you had to deal with. Holy crap.
Right. Like, I actually didn't know that, too, till, the very end. Now, he brought in a lot of Karn Wraiths, which are very bad for me, because they have armor piercing, and they only take more damage if I use a magical attack, which I do lack. I did bring in a Chaos Sorcerer and Prince Sigvald. Now, the Prince is quite good at dueling. He's very good. He will take out your hero in a heartbeat, but unfortunately, if they're flying, he doesn't do a great job. But here, they fortunately had land-based heroes.
He doesn't have any kind of flying mount like Archaon does he?
Not at all, which is really a pain, because I would like to use him more. I'm not sure what it is about him. He's a pretentious fellow in every way. Like, his lore, he's a jackass, man. Like, he's a terrible guy. But, oh, and I think he eats human flesh. Yeah.
He does! But also the lore, and I wish they did it in this game, he's supposed to float above the ground because he feels that dirt is beneath him. And that's amazing. And they even have floating units in the game with the Karn Wraiths, so they could have done it. But they didn't, and I think that's a missed opportunity.
I actually didn't know that part. Holy crap, that is incredible. Now, I did know that his bodyguard had, mirrors on their shield so that he would be able to pre himself in the middle of a fight.
I did hear about that too. And he doesn't have his bodyguards with him. I've seen people in the comments be like, they should have just given him, people that didn't fight, but they just hold mirrors for him. I thought that would have been
That would be amazing, yeah. Yeah, here is a battle where we didn't really have to do too much. It was actually a pretty normal Total War battle, which is not very common in the game right now. Because, here we had our line, and then I used my Knights over here as a hammer. So it was a basic hammer and anvil. But they bloodied me up pretty hard, though, just because I can't cause any fear here. So it takes a long time to beat them. You have to fight them to the very last man. And I actually don't know what's going on for your fight, because I didn't get to really look at it.
In my fight, it's just a bunch of Orc Biggins fighting against Forsaken, and then on the right, I have all my Savage Boar Biggins fighting against Chaos Knights, and I have them backed up with Black Orcs against the Chaos Trolls? Armored Trolls. So, that's, if I remember correctly, that's why I put my Black Orcs over there, because I knew that they were Armored Trolls, and I thought, they may be able to do pretty good against them.
Yeah, you're actually beginning to make their Trolls break, but they're still not there yet. Chaos Trolls, well, Trolls, as a whole, are very, very strong. They're very good. They have armor piercing, a great charge, and all of that. But if they're not next to your leader, they will break. And they break fast.
Trolls are definitely a unit that I want to try out more later, but they seem to be pretty good. But it seems like off and on. I've seen Trolls just really fall quickly and then not fall quickly. But I think that's when they're under fire from focused, crossbows attacking things. Right.
I'm gonna go check out your main line, which is where you're really beginning to get beat up. Mostly because, again, Forsaken do a lot of damage. And like I was telling you before we began here, the Orcs really need a mid-line type of defensive Orc tank in a way. Because, the Orc boys can't do it, and the goblin spears, well, they would melt pretty fast too.
Yeah, all you got is the orc boys for a shield for an orc unit, and it doesn't feel like quite enough because, like you said, they're not that amazing. But then like the orc boy biggins, not that great at staying alive either.
Right, they all die very, very quick, and you can't really have a steady line. And like, I mean, I know that you need to flank and things like that, but for the orcs, I mean, you think they would have like a mid-line type of unit to tank a little bit more. I do know that like you could have a black orc with a giant boarded like sword, like a giant shield and a giant sword. That was actually a class that you could play in Warhammer Online, which again is a game that I do miss quite a bit.
Yeah, you could. That was like the black orc thing. They were just a tank.
Right. Which I would actually prefer in very many ways because, I mean, black orcs are strong, but I would rather them tank. I would much rather watch them kind of hold my midline and then use my biggins to actually flank. That I would prefer.
I just wish they kind of did it like they did with Chaos, because Chaos have Chosen, but they have Chosen with axes and shield, and then Chosen with great weapons and halberds and stuff. Right. So maybe that's something we'll get in a DLC. We'll get Black Orc unit with shields. I don't know. Maybe they thought it was like a balance thing. I don't know.
That would be great. And I just watched my prince punt that old man Kimmler, who I accidentally call Himmler quite a bit.
Heinrich Himmler. I like Heinrich Himmler, just because I like how he says his name. But right now, I'm kind of collapsing at this point. I only have a couple units left. They still have most of their trolls up. They still have some Chaos Knights. They've taken out my Doom Divers. It's not looking good for me. And my Orc Shaman is barely holding on.
I was actually very shocked that you were able to kill as many as you did, because, I mean, you just did not have a proper build to beat them. But, I mean, like, towards the very end, you held on and you blew them up. I mean, like, once I got to fight them, they were pretty much wiped out, though, which was great.
Yeah, hey, listen, the orcs, they know how to fight. They weren't going to give up. Well, yeah, a lot of them do die in this fight. But I mean, they're fighting Kolik's Sun Eater, you know? They're fighting armored trolls.
He is no joke. I mean, maybe if you had a bunch of guns to shoot him down, like, guns definitely would have helped you win here. That definitely would have helped, but unfortunately, you're an orc, you don't get that. You get a freaking bow.
Yeah, I could have taken bows, but I remember since you were playing Chaos and I was going to play orcs, I figured we would be both rush armies. And I was like, well, I'm not going to pick up bows in a rush army. Right. And yeah, the bows probably would have helped a little bit to focus fire Kolik down if I could have protected them from all of the Chaos Knights in this game.
Right. And on my flank, I'm beginning to finally wipe them all out. I mean, they fight to the nitty-gritty. I had guys breaking, and that Terrorgeist, man, not a lot of kills, but it does cause a lot of terror, and unfortunately, I'm not undead, so my men began to break here and there. But yeah, here's where I begin to beat them down. Like, we kind of reached our conclusion at the same time, which did end up working out pretty well.
Yeah, but the thing is, my conclusion, not as happy as yours, as it turns out.
No, that is incorrect. You have to remember, you had a shaman, but we'll get to that in a moment, because, I mean, that was my favorite part of the whole game. That was great. Man, every time we play, we don't talk the whole time, unless we're trying to relay information. It gets quiet.
Oh, it's super quiet, because we are both just focused. If we did this live commentary, the entire video would basically be silent, except for occasional, maybe some curses would be thrown at some points, and then at other points like, I'm going to go to the left, I'm going to go to the right. Right. And then a bunch of F-bombs.
Like, what needs to be understood, too, is that it's not like a single-player game, where basically the AI is all buffed up, so you could flank, but it won't really work out very, very well. But here, you don't have that, which means that when you flank, it's very effective. So you've got to watch things the whole time. Things break quickly. Yeah, here's Kolik. Look at him go.
So yeah, at this point, my poor orc boys, they're all running for their lives. But my shaman is still alive. And right now, I'm just trying to get my shaman to you.
And I remember that we were talking about that too, and I was beginning to form up. I just won my fight, and you were trying to get the remainder of your guys together to come help me out. But man, look at Kolik. I was actually very shocked that your heroes were able to kind of keep up. I think you had, what, 2 or 1?
I only had one hero. I took one orc one goblin shaman for the buff spells mostly that the shamans have. I kind of like them.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Wait, we have 3 minutes to go? What was going on here? I think we were forming up a bit.
Yeah, we're just forming up. They're continuing to chase my people off the field. I think I also end up getting like a Wolf Rider unit that comes back.
Yeah. Let me look at my troll. Yeah, my troll is pretty beefed up. 145 kills right now. Let me go look at what's going on here. Yeah, they all got a lot of kills. Now, I will say, the player that I did fight used their zombies quite well. I actually never really thought about that. I mean, like, it was kind of a logical thing to do, that you would want to use them to bog down your foe, but man, he did a great job. Like, I really thought for a little while that I was not going to win.
Moving fast!
And he zapped you.
Yeah. Kolek, is that the only spell Kolek has? Is that lightning?
I believe it might be, but I can't really remember because I have a lot of gear on him on my single-player game, so I'm not really too sure, and I probably would never pay for him in a multiplayer game. 2,000, no way. I mean, like, maybe in a huge match, but not in, like, a 12,000 gold match.
He can get work done.
Yeah, but if you have guns, man, you can shoot him down.
That's true.
All right. So,
I remember at this point...
All right, go on.
I was just going to say, I remember I was very happy that I got my Orc Shaman into your lines.
Right, and here is where we were going over the plan, and I was actually going over why I chose my build and why I brought a giant and things like that, because I was going that my goal is to break down leadership quickly, and that is what we were going to do here, that we would use all of our buffs, all of our spells, and we would try to shock them into fleeing. And that is when you brought up having a buff, I think you did, and I think that is what you use. That or you used a debuff. I can't really remember which one.
Yeah, my shaman has a buff that buffs up, I think it's leadership and melee attack and defense, maybe?
I'll give him a clear.
Man, look at how few are left. And we're beginning to line up, and then we have the showdown. Kolek and Forsaken, a lot of them too. And a few knights, okay. All right, here comes my giant. What a cool fight, though. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of a film where it's like they're meeting out in a giant field, and they're like, no, that's my farming field, time to duel. And then
yeah,
knocks down my giant.
My farming field from the farming wars of 2010.
Right. Dude, those were brutal, man, but I'm pretty good with a hoe. Pretty effective with a farming tool.
Okay.
And here we go. You buffed me up. We were all buffed up. I think Sigvald may have had a buff. I'm not too sure, but they began to melt here big time.
Yeah, they do.
We clashed. All right, let me go look at her quick. Yep. Stand your ground.
Breaking.
They were shaking. Yeah.
Yeah, stand your ground. Is that what I gave to your troops?
Probably should have looked at information beforehand, but that might have been me, but I'm not too sure. And we won.
We won.
Okay,
victory.
I'm gonna go and end the replay because I know people want to see like what was going on here. But yeah, that was our battle. It went pretty well, and to be blunt about it, we've been winning a lot of games. Like, we have lost a few, but we have won actually quite a lot. Like, I think it was the other day when we won every match that we played the whole day, and we did play more than one match. Yeah,
it was like 5 matches that day. I think we won them all.
Right.
So, you know, if you don't see losses, it's not that we're choosing to only show wins. It's just that we've been winning a lot.
Yeah, man, and you can't
because we're just badass.
You.
We're just badass,
right.
You know.
No, look. You have to be humble. We're not in the 80s where you can be a rock star and be like, yeah, I'm great. No. You need to be like, oh, I'm thankful when things. But that was a good game, Blockbuster and Cock Thruster. Great game. But no, that was.
Yeah, I forgot that was this dude's name.
But no, that was actually a really close game, and it was probably one of the more enjoyable ones because we didn't have to dance back and forth the entire time, shooting back and forth and things like that. Here, we clashed, and we barely won, but we won. So, I mean, that was, like, I think by far our closest game.
It was a great one. I really enjoyed that one.
Well, time to sign out. So, everyone, thank you for watching, and check out our